Welcome back everyone to 3D modeling a Hobbit door scene with Blender 2.9 and Adobe Photoshop. Now what we want to do is we want to put some bolts in the air just to make sure that the door looks like it's actually being held on with something. At the moment it's just basically floating on top of the door frame. So let's start that by pressing Shift A. What we're going to do is we're going to come to Mesh, and we're going to bring in a UV sphere, and we're going to turn these down because they're way too high at the moment. So let's try putting this on 12, and we'll put this on 12 as well, and then that should be absolutely fine for what we need. Let's spin it round, so RX 90, so it's facing the correct way now, and then let's make it smaller, so the S button, bring it up, and let's make it small enough to where it's going to go. Let's pull it out a little bit. And what we're going to do now is actually get rid of the back of it. We don't need that. So we're going to come in where the halfway point is, Alt, Shift and click, delete, and faces. Now click the back with L, delete, vertices, and now we've got our actual bolts ready to go. Now I'm going to squish it in a little bit because it looks a little bit too fat going round. So S and Y, pull it in just a tad. Alright, so now we don't really need to mark any seams on this. We can simply press unwrap and then it's unwrapped, and let's come in and bring the same material, which is the black metal. So we'll come over to our materials, plus, down arrow, dot metal, and then all we need to do is shade smooth. Now one thing is just make sure that you're happy with the actual size on the UV map, which I'm not. I think I need to, in fact we'll leave it as it is for now. I'll put these in place and then we can go and move them around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, first of all, where I want it. So you can see it's way too big at the moment. I'm going to press dot on the number pad. I'm going to pull it out. Press the S button. Pull it out again. And let's have a look what that's looking like. I think that is about the right size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 1 on the number pad, bring it up. And I think I'm going to put 3 down here. So Shift D. So 1, 2, Shift D. Let's have a look if 3 is going to be good. 3 like so. Double tap the A. Let's zoom out. And yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I think the one issue I'm actually having with this is that it looks slightly off on the color based on the angle of these parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call this new dot metal 2. And why I'm doing this is so I can actually change this material to fit these parts more. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to grab the hinges. I'm going to press Tab, A, and then I'm going to come down to dot metal 2. And there we go now, they've all been changed. Now the one thing that I do need to do is I need to come back to my dot metal 1. I need to copy the material, put it on dot metal 2, and then paste the material like so. All right, so then we can work on those. Now let's, I think, let's have a look if it needs 3 in there. All right, let's work on the actual material now, and then we can see what it's going to look like. So I'm gonna click on one, come over to shading, dot to zoom in. I'm gonna put on my cycles render so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna double tap the A. We can't really see it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these out, so Shift D, just duplicate them and put them in place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to where my gamma is, and let's have a look if we turn that gamma down. Yep, that's the right way. So let's turn it up to, let's have a look, 0.501. I think it's looking a bit better. Let's try 0.55, like so. And there we go, and now you can see they're just fitting just that little bit better. Now we've actually turned this down. So now let's go back to modeling, and what we'll do is we'll just delete these ones. So I'm going to grab these, press delete, and now let's work on these hinges. So I think I'm going to bring in, I think maybe 2 or 3. Let's just delete that one. Yeah, and I think 2's actually better. So I'm going to press Shift D, bring it down. Like so, and let's bring in another one, so Shift D. And because it's flat, we know that they'll just basically come down and be able to put them in place. I think I want 1 here, and then probably 1 on this corner here. Maybe a little bit smaller as well. So what we'll do is we'll press Shift D, and I'll bring it over. I'll put it in the place where I want it. I'm going to press dot to zoom in. I'm going to make it slightly smaller, like so, and then I'm going to pull it out a little bit. All right, like that. And then let's bring it up and put 1 in here, let's say, so Shift D. bring it up like so, and then Shift D. Let's bring it up and put it in place here. And then I'm thinking, right, where else do I want it? Do I want these on each one of these, or am I happy with them being there? Again, let's have a check on our cycles render. Let's have a look what that looks like. And you can see that because it's on quite a low sample, it's quite hard to pick them up, but I think actually they're going to look pretty nice on there. I think I need a few in these parts here, and then I think we're done. So let's put it back on texturing, Shift D, we'll bring them over. Let's put one here, Shift D, one here, and then one here, like so. Like so. All right, so let's join all these up now. So I'm just shift clicking all of these, press Ctrl J, and then I'm just gonna have a look. And so I'm gonna press G, just move them away and just make sure I've got everything. Double tap the A, and I think I'm very happy with that. Now, before we move on to the grass, the one thing we should do, or I always like to do, is name everything and delete anything out of the scene that shouldn't actually be there. Sometimes you end up with empties and things that there's basically no mesh there. Let's clean up all this as well. So first of all, let's come to our sphere. So this is hinges and bolts. So we'll rename this to hinges and bolts. And the reason I do this as well is that if I want to take any of these parts through to another blend scene or something like that, or if I want to take them through to Unreal, I know that everything's named correctly. So it's really important you just take the time to actually do that. So color fill is going to be, well, these are the hinges. So do we join all these up together? I think we will. So what I'll do is I'll grab this one, shift click this one, press Ctrl J and join those all up. So Ctrl J, and there we go. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just come in and actually put these, name these ones. So these will be the hinge bars. So hinge bars. And I'm not going to join them up with the bolts. I think I'll leave those. You can see though that we've got these into the hinge SVG. I'm just going to move that out. So I'm going to put it down the bottom, just move it out so those are like so. And then in here, if I hide this, you can see nothing happens. So I'm just going to delete that out of the way. And there we go. Now, we did forget to do one thing, and that is just to actually make all these edges a little bit smoother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to select. I'm going to select sharp edges like so. So let's just grab one of them like so. Select sharp edges like so. And then I'm just going to press Ctrl B and just bevel those off just very, very slightly like so. Double tap the A, and now they look much, much better than what they did. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. Now let's come to the next one. So the next one is the circle, and this is the steps. So we'll name this steps. And again, I'm going to pull it down to the bottom. Now collection 3 hasn't got anything in it, so I can delete that out of the way. So come down, delete, and now let's open collection 1. So cube can stay as cube, obviously. This is the wooden door, so let's call it that, wood and door. And let's come to the next one down, which is the stained glass window. And then let's come down to the arch. So stone, arch. And I think that is everything now. Yeah, that's everything. So what I tend to do now is I'll come in, I'll grab these 3 and I'll pull them up and drop them in the collection. And then what I'll do is I'll take another collection. So I'm going to close that up, come over to here where it says scene collection, right click, new collection. And this one we're going to call light and camera, like so. And then this collection, which has everything in, we'll call this Hobbit Door. So I'm just going to double click it, Hobbit Door, like so. And now all we need to do is move out our sun and just drop it into our light and camera. All right, so all that now is set up. Finally, let's save it out. And then on the next one, we'll start work on our actual grass. Okay, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.